Ciao everybody, welcome back to Organic Italian. I'm Brianna and today I have an extra special Valentine's Day recipe for you. Today we're making Torta Caprese. Now if you don't know, a Torta Caprese is a flourless chocolate cake, which kind of makes me feel a little bit less guilty about eating a chocolate cake. I figure there's no flour in it, it's not as bad, right? But what better to make for your Valentine or your family or even yourself than a chocolate cake? Let's go get started. This recipe is actually pretty simple and requires few ingredients. Again, the exact measurements for everything will be linked in a recipe below, but here's just a quick overview of what you're gonna need. You're gonna need some eggs, some chocolate. This is 60% bittersweet chocolate. You're going to need almonds, baking powder, sugar. The secret ingredient is some strega. And I highly recommend that for this recipe you use a kitchen scale just because it's the most accurate way to weigh grams, and a food processor. And that's pretty much it. First thing you want to do before you get started on mixing all your ingredients together is you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. That way it'll come to temperature while you're putting all the ingredients together. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our food processor and you want to throw your almonds inside. Now, if you don't have a food processor, you can throw all the almonds in a plastic bag and hit them with something, but I really recommend using some kind of processor or chopper because you need the almonds to be super fine, almost like a powder for this cake. When you're done processing your almonds, this is the consistency of what it should look like. It should be a really fine, smooth texture. This is how you know your almonds are perfect. You want to create a double broiler here that you're going to pour your chocolate chips into. That way you can melt them. And it's super important that you keep mixing them. While your chocolate is melting on your double broiler, you can come back over to your stand mixer fitted with a whisk attachment and you're going to pour in your sugar and your butter. I'm going to cut my butter up into pieces so it's not just one giant chunk of butter in the stand mixer. Your butter should be room temperature. Don't leave it on the stove like I did and have it melt everywhere. But yeah, it should be room temperature so it's easy to cut and easy to mix. Now you're going to just let your butter and sugar cream together for a bit. When your butter and sugar are done creaming together, it should look like this. The best way that I can explain it to you guys is it should kind of look like mashed potatoes. That's when you know you have the perfect consistency. This is the consistency of what your chocolate should look like when it's done melting in the double broiler. And we're just going to put this to the side for a second. And now I'm going to crack my eggs. Now I'm not going to crack my eggs directly in the stand mixer. You want to crack your eggs into a bowl and whisk them on their own before you add it to the rest of the ingredients in the stand mixer. Once you've whisked your eggs in a separate bowl, you're going to go ahead and slowly add it to the mixture in the stand mixer. For the next part, after your butter and sugar have creamed together and you add your eggs, the next step is to add your almonds. So you're going to take your almonds after you've chopped them in the food processor and you're just going to add them to the mixture. Once your almonds have been well combined with everything in the bowl, it's time to add your beautiful melted chocolate. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this in. So for the final steps of mixing this cake together, we're going to go ahead and add our baking powder. and our strega. Now, strega is what really gives this cake its flavor. You can really taste the subtle strega in it when you're eating it, and it's so delicious, guys. I mean, this already smells so good in the mixing bowl, so imagine when you start baking this. Ugh. So you're gonna need a 9-inch springform pan. A springform pan just makes it so much easier to get the cake out when it's done baking, and you don't have to do any flipping over or anything like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and butter the bottom and the sides of the pan. And then I'm gonna take my parchment paper and stick it at the bottom. And the reason I butter the bottom of the tray, even though I'm using parchment paper, is so the parchment paper, 1, sticks to the bottom of the tray when I'm pouring the batter in, and 2, makes it easy for the parchment paper to lift once it's done baking. So now we're ready to put our mixture into the pan, and you can see just by mixing this mixture how light and airy it is. I mean, it's really just, it's my favorite chocolate cake. So here we go. Into our springform pan. You want to try and even it out as best as you can, but we're going to even it out with our spatula when we're done anyway. And you don't want to leave any of that chocolate goodness behind. You want to get all of it. Now we're going to go ahead and just smooth the whole thing out. I'm so excited to eat this. I wish you guys could smell how good this smells. I mean, you're gonna have to make it to see. Now that you have all of your filling inside of your pie pan, you're gonna go ahead and put it in the oven. Again, we preheated our oven to 350 degrees, and it's gonna go in and bake for about 50 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean. So let's go bake this baby because I am so excited to eat it. Hey guys, so our Torta Caprese is ready. Here she is. She's beautiful. She smells amazing. And I just went ahead and dusted her with some powdered sugar. That's how you serve this cake traditionally. And she's ready to dig into. I'm gonna go make some espresso and dig into this cake. I hope you guys try this recipe, and I'll see you all next time. Ciao!